Chalo, let's start with the subjective question answers of supply under GST chapter. Let's start the discussions. Yes, starting in the beginning, you have got some direct questions. We'll simply discuss and go ahead. Then we'll start the discussion of the case study based questions. First question, what is the taxable event under GST? So taxable under GST is, first of all, there should be a supply, right? There should be a taxable supply of goods or services. As soon as there is a taxable supply of goods and services by a taxable person, right, then that will be the taxable event under GST. And if there is any intrastate supply, so at that time CGST, SGST will be applicable, and when there is interstate supply at that time, IGST will be applicable. Okay. Next one, what is the tax treatment of composite supply and mixed supply under GST? What is the tax treatment of composite supply and mixed supply? So we know that in composite supply, one of the supply will be considered as the principal supply, and the tax will be calculated at the rate of principal supply. Whereas in case of mixed supply, the rate of GST will be the highest rate applicable of all those goods or services. Then next question, whether transfer of title or possession is necessary for transaction to constitute supply of goods. Yes, whenever there is any supply of goods, okay, not services, supply of goods, at that time can we say there should be a transfer. There should be a transfer of title that should be happening, and even the possession should be passing on to the other person. When this is happening, only then the transaction will be considered as supply of goods. Okay, this we had seen in schedule number 2. But when there is no supply, when there is no transfer of title, then it cannot be considered as supply of goods. Okay. Next question. Examine whether the following activities would amount to supply under section number 7. Does it amount to supply as per section number 7? First one, Damodar Charitable Trust, a trust who gets the eye treatment of the needy people done free of cost, donates clothes and toys to the children living in slum area. So basically there is a charitable trust who is simply doing the eye treatment of the needy people, donating clothes and toys to the children living in slum area, etc. Means, is there any consideration that the trust is going to get in return? Answer is no. And if there is no consideration, as per section number 7(1)(a), this transaction cannot be considered as what? This transaction cannot be considered as supply. Right? Now, how will you present this answer? Suppose if you get such a question, how do we present it? Present कैसे करना है? ठीक है, अभी देखो, there is no static formula of presentation, but you have to present it in the best possible manner. Okay, you have to present it in the best possible manner. Means, how do we do this? Okay, how do we do this? Just try to understand. First para has to be what? First para has to be the provision. Okay, so first we will write, as per section number 7(1)(a) of the CGST Act, a transaction will be considered as a supply if it is done for a consideration and if it is done in the course or furtherance of business. Okay, then you will have to link that provision to the given question. In the given question, they had asked you about this particular transaction. So you will say that, okay, charitable trust has done the eye treatment of needy people and donated clothes and toys to the needy children of the slum area, etc. But in return, there was no consideration that was received by the charitable trust. So since one parameter of section number 7(1)(a) is missing, therefore this transaction cannot be considered as a supply. Okay, so first paragraph has to be your provision. Second paragraph has to be linking that provision to the given question. And third one has to be your conclusion. Okay. Then the next one. Sulekha manufacturers have a factory in Delhi and have a depot in Mumbai. Factory in Delhi, depot in Mumbai. Both establishments are registered in the respective states. Okay, registered in the respective states. So can we say they are hinting towards distinct persons? One PAN but having multiple GST registration number. Now, finished goods are sent from factory in Delhi to Mumbai depot without consideration so that the same can be sold. Okay, so that the same can be sold. So now can we say this is a schedule 1 transaction? Because first of all, ma'am, how did you understand this is a schedule 1 transaction? This is done without consideration. Okay, and if it is done without consideration, If it is done without consideration, then in that case, section 71C or schedule number 1 becomes applicable. Now, can we say this is supply of goods between related persons or distinct persons in the course or furtherance of business done for zero consideration? Means can we say we are falling under para 2 of schedule number 1? अगर हम para 2 of schedule number 1 के अंदर fall कर रहे हैं, so can we say this transaction will be considered as a deemed supply even if it is done for zero consideration? ठीक है, तो वो हो गया आपका second one. Okay, so how do we write the answer? How do we present this answer? See, कुछ answers we will discuss. Some answers we will discuss. Some answers we will discuss how to present. Some answers we can go ahead, right? So now here, यहाँ पे कैसे लिखोगे? सबसे पहले आपको first of all you will have to write the provisions of para 2 of schedule number 1. Okay, then you will have to give the meaning of distinct person. Okay, and then you will have to relate it to the question. Therefore, how will you conclude it? Therefore, when the finished goods are sent from factory in Delhi to Mumbai depot, it is a transfer of goods or supply of goods between distinct persons done with no consideration. Therefore, the transaction will be considered as a deemed supply. Right? Chalo, let's go to the next one. Raman is an electronic commerce operator in Chennai. Okay, for the timing, we have not yet studied the concept of e-commerce, electronic commerce operator. Just understand it as a normal business. Okay, he is in Chennai. His brother, who is settled in London, is a well-known lawyer. Raman has taken legal advice from him free of cost with regard to his family dispute. Now, free of cost. Again, free of cost means can I say this is going to again come in schedule number 1? Okay, and can we say this is importation of service? Acha, importation of service in schedule number 1 means it comes under para number 4. What was told in para number 4? Para number 4 बोल रहा था importation of services from a related person or from any establishment outside India for zero consideration but done in the course or furtherance of business. Now can we say here this is in regard to the family dispute, means this is for personal reason. Acha, because of that, can we say this transaction does not fall under para number 4? Why does not fall under para 4? Because para 4 said that it should be done in the course or furtherance of business. And second reason, from whom did we import this service? We imported the services from our brother. Brother, related person? Brother will be called as a related person only if brother is wholly and mainly dependent on you, but whereas he is already a well-known lawyer there. So, is he a part of family for the purpose of GST or he is not a part of family? He is not a part of family. So, can we say again para 4 of schedule 1 is not applicable? If it is not applicable, then this transaction cannot be considered as what? This transaction cannot be considered as a supply. Yes, because of two reasons. First one, this is not a supply between related person. And second one, this we have taken it not in the course or furtherance of business. Okay. Last one. Would your answer be different if in the above case, Raman has taken advice for his business unit? Can we say our answer will still remain the same? Means this transaction is still not considered as a supply. Why? Ma'am, now we have taken it for business. Na? Arey Baba, but from whom have you imported this? You have imported this from your brother, and brother here is not a family. So this transaction does not form part of schedule 1 para number. Understanding this? Yes? Okay. Then after that, going to the next one, state whether the following supplies would be treated as supply of goods or services as per schedule 2 of the CGST Act. State whether the following supplies would be treated as goods or services as per schedule 2, only the classification. Renting of immovable property, supply of services. Goods forming part of business assets are transferred or disposed of by or under directions of the person. It is disposed of. Transfer or disposed of means it is kind of gone. Title is gone. So this will be considered as supply of goods. Then transfer of right in goods without transfer of title. This is supply of services. Then transfer of title in goods. Transfer of title in goods under an agreement which stipulates that property shall pass at a future date. Higher purchase. This will be again considered as supply of goods. Okay. Then after that, determine whether the following supplies amount to composite supplies. Section number 8 we have to apply. A hotel provides 4 days, 3 night package wherein the facility of breakfast and dinner is also provided along with the room accommodation. So yes, it is a composite supply. Out of this, principal supply is going to be of the room accommodation, right? Because this is naturally bundled together. Then a toothpaste company has offered the scheme of free toothbrush or soap along with the toothpaste, artificially bundled together. So this cannot be considered as a composite supply. Then the next one, whether goods supplied on higher purchase basis will be treated as supply of goods or services. So we have already studied that here the title is going to pass and the possession and the title is going to be passed at a future date when all the installments are going to be paid. So this will be considered as supply of goods. Already studied. Reference you will give is of schedule number 2, section number 7(1)(a). Then after that, next question. Agrawal Carriers is a GTA, Goods Transport Agency, engaged in transportation of goods by road. As per the general business practice, Agrawal Carriers also provides intermediary and ancillary services like loading, unloading, packing, unpacking, transshipment and temporary warehousing in relation to transportation of goods. Okay, so the main service provided here is transportation. Along with that, it is providing loading, unloading and those services. With reference to the provisions of GST law, analyze whether such services are to be treated as a part of goods transport agency service being a composite supply or a separate supply. So yes, definitely transportation plus loading unloading goes hand in hand. Okay, the goods transport agency won't only provide loading and unloading service, it will provide loading and unloading but only with transportation. So such a supply will be called as composite supply, and if it is a composite supply, transportation will be considered as the principal supply and the rate of GST applicable on the total amount will be the rate applicable on the principal supply. Yes. Then the next one, a professional training institute. Okay, a professional training institute gets its training material printed from a printing issue. The content of the material, this we have discussed. The content of the material is provided by the training institute who owns the usage right of the same, while the physical inputs, that is paper, used for printing belongs to the printer. Ascertain whether supply of training material by the printing press constitutes supply of goods or supply of services. So this we have already studied. This was clarified by way of a circular that whenever there is supply of books, okay, whenever there is supply of books by the printer to the author, where the paper is also involved plus printing service is also involved, and where the content was provided by the author, in such a case, the principal supply, in such a case, content becomes more important, and therefore, the even if it is a composite supply, in the composite supply, printing will be the principal supply, right? Therefore, the entire supply will be called as supply of services, right? Then going to the next one, state the necessary elements for a supply to be chargeable to GST. Necessary element so as to be chargeable to GST. Okay, so can we say first of all there should be a supply? Yes. Second one, there should be supply of goods or services, right? Next one, the supply that you are making, that should be a taxable supply. And last one, this supply should be made by whom? This supply should be made by a taxable person. If all of these conditions gets fulfilled, then only the supply will be called as what? Then only the supply will be called as then only GST will be applicable on that particular transaction, right? Okay. Next one, Mr. Rajesh Surana has a proprietorship firm in the name of Surana and Sons in Jaipur. The firm registered under GST in the state of Rajasthan manufactures taxable products. Okay, so there is a firm called as Surana and Sons in Jaipur. Okay, it is registered and it is manufacturing taxable products. Let's simplify. The firm also provides taxable consultancy services. Okay, so it is engaged into goods also, it is engaged into services. Possible, why not? Then Mr. Rajesh Surana has provided the consultancy services to his brother. Now he has provided to his brother. Okay, now Mr. Akhilesh Surana located in USA without any consideration. Okay, means this is not importation. This is exportation of service. Okay, supply of service. The products manufactured by Mr. Akhilesh are similar to the ones manufactured by Mr. Rajesh Surana. Okay, means his brother and he both of them are engaged into manufacturing of same products. Means his brother who is there outside India, is he dependent or is he independent? If he is also engaged into some manufacturing, rational assumption would be even that person is independent. ठीक है, वो अपना खुद का मैन्युफैक्चरिंग वहां पे कर रहा है तो वो हमारे ऊपर डिपेंडेंट नहीं है. Okay. Now, Mr. Surana charges rupees 3 lakh for providing similar consultancy services to other independent customers located in US. Okay, so he is also providing service. Mr. Surana is providing to independent people, it is providing at 3 lakh rupees. To his brother, he gave it for free. Compute the GST liability, if any, in the given case, assuming the rate of GST to be 9, 9 and 18% respectively. Okay. So now, can we say, here we are providing some services to our brother. That is free of cost, without any consideration. Can you see this? Without any consideration. Means, first of all, if it is without any consideration, means we are talking about section number 7(1)(c). Okay, if we are talking about section 7(1)(c), in that, is there any point where there is supply of goods or services between related person for zero consideration? Yes. Para number 2. Do you recollect that? Para number 2 of schedule number 1. What was para number 2 of schedule number 1 saying? It was saying that if there is any supply, it can be both ways, na, giving or taking. If there is any supply of goods or services between related persons for zero consideration in the course or furtherance of business, then it will be considered as a deemed supply. But here, okay, all the points are getting fulfilled except for one. Is this person our related person or he is not our related person? He is not our related person. Why? Why is brother not our related person? Because he is not dependent on me. Remember, family members will be considered as related person, and in the definition of family member, brother will come only when he is wholly or mainly dependent on us. So this transaction is not a supply. Then after that, the next question. Satyamev Printers is a printing house registered under GST. It receives an order for printing 5,000 copies of a book on yoga and meditation authored by a well-known yoga guru. The content of the book is to be provided by the yoga guru to Satyamev Printers. It is agreed that Satyamev Printers will use its own paper to print the said books. You are required to determine the rate of GST applicable on supply of printed books. What will be the rate of GST applicable? They are telling that printing services GST rate is 18%, paper rate is 12%. So can we say here, similar question we have done before, just the pattern of question is changing. Content is provided by the author and printing is done by Satyamev Printer. So here, as per the circular, this was considered as supply of service. It is a composite supply and it is considered as supply of service. Main supply, principal supply will be printing services. If principal supply is printing services, can we say the rate of GST applicable is equal to 18%? Yes, so you will have to explain. First, how will you write the answer? First, you will have to explain that composite supply printing provision. Okay, then in the second paragraph, you will have to relate it to the above provision. And in the third paragraph, you will have to give the conclusion. Then after that, answer the following questions. Sudama Associates, a registered supplier, disposes the computers owned by the business without consideration and it has not claimed ITC on such computers. Without consideration, disposal of assets. Can we say para 1 of schedule number 1? Yes, permanent transfer or disposal of business assets on which ITC has been claimed. But here, ITC has been claimed or ITC has not been claimed? Here, ITC has not been claimed. So can we say we are not falling under para 1? If we are not falling under para 1, so this transaction cannot be considered as a supply. Logic. What is the logic? Earlier we did not claim the ITC. Means the tax on this particular asset has already been paid to the government. So now when we are selling it for free, at that time there will be no GST applicable. Then the next one. Prithvi Enterprises appoints Champak to procure certain goods from the market. Okay, so Prithvi Enterprises is appointing Champak, maybe an agent. Agent identifies various suppliers who provide the goods as desired by Prithvi Enterprises. So I wanted to purchase the goods, for that I appointed an agent and asks a supplier, Satya Manufacturers, to send the goods and issue the invoice directly to Prithvi Enterprises. Okay, so basically Satya Manufacturers is there. Satya Manufacturers is selling the goods to Champak to Prithvi Enterprises. But see how the invoicing is done. See how the invoicing, like this is the chain of transaction. Now see how the invoicing is done. And ask the supplier Satya manufacturers to send the goods and issue the invoice directly. Means, is the invoice issued in the name of the agent or it is not issued by the agent? It is not issued by the agent. So can we say this person will not be considered as an agent as per para 3 of schedule number 1? If this person is not considered as an agent, then this transaction will not be considered as a supply. Okay, it will not be considered as a supply between the principal and the agent. Manageable? Yes. Which reference did we give here? We gave the reference of para number 3 of schedule number 1. Then after that, you are required to determine whether he can be considered. So answer is no, he cannot be considered agent as per schedule number 1 because he is not issuing the invoice in his own name. Right? Then after that, going to the next question. Ajata Satru, whatever you want to pronounce, Industries enters into a contract with an actor, Chandragupta, to act as brand ambassador of products manufactured by these industries. The duration of the contract is 5 years and the contract fee payable to Chandragupta for being a brand ambassador is rupees 50 lakhs per annum. As per the terms of contract, in case the contract is terminated by Chandragupta before the end of the contract, Chandragupta will have to repay to this industries 50% of the contract fee received by him till the time of termination. Okay. Kind of, breach of contract provisions. At the end of 3rd year, Chandragupta terminates the contract with Ajat Satru Industries. He has received the contract fee for 3 years. Contract fee per year was 50 lakhs now. So for 3 years, it will be 1.5 crores. Yes. Now he is cancelling this contract. If he is cancelling this contract, can we say there was a specific agreement that he will have to repay back 50%? If he will have to repay back 50% means he will have to pay back 75 lakhs back. Yes, you are required to determine whether the following transaction qualify as a supply. This we had studied in schedule number 2, section number 7.1a, schedule number 2, that whenever there is any breach of contract and for which any liquidated damages or penalty is required to be paid, okay, then that will be considered as a supply if there is a separate agreement for that. If there is a consideration flowing from one person to another. So yes, there will be a consideration flowing of 75 lakhs and yes, there was a specific contract that 50% has to be paid. So this transaction will be considered as what? This transaction will be considered as supply, and that to supply of service. Because this is not supply of goods, that's why it will be considered as supply of service. Then after that, the next one, Shivaji Private Limited. Shivaji Private Limited, a registered supplier, supplies the following goods and services for construction of building and complexes. Excavators for required period at per hour rate, manpower for operation of excavators at per day rate, soil testing and seismic evaluation at per sample rate. Excavators are invariably hired out along with the operators. Similarly, excavators operators are supplied only when the excavator is hired out. Okay. So operators go hand in hand with the excavators. For a given month, the receipts exclusive of GST of this company are as follows. Hire charges of excavators 18 lakhs. Manpower for operation of excavators service charges is 20,000. Service charges for soil testing and seismic evaluation at 3 sites is 2,50,000. Compute the GST payable by this company for the given month. And rates are hiring out of excavators is 12%, manpower and soil testing is 18%. So now can we say here, first of all, what is the first income? First income is the hiring charges for excavators. Can we say excavators and manpower for operating that excavators goes hand in hand? Yes. So can we say these two supplies will be considered as composite supply? Yes. If it is a composite supply, can we say on 18 lakhs and on 20,000, the principal supply rate GST will be applicable. Principal supply is that of excavator, that is 12%. So on both of this, can we say 12% will be applicable because of the concept of composite supply. Next we got the money for soil testing. That is totally different, 2,50,000. And what is the rate of GST on soil testing? It is 18%. So you just multiply the amount with the rate of GST and you get the final GST liability. The most important thing here was this, excavator goes hand in hand with what? Excavator goes hand in hand with hiring of excavators. Yes, and whenever you are doing any such numerical question, please make sure first you present it in the table, okay, and then below that you give the notes for each and every point, for each and every effect that you are giving. For that you are required to give an note. Yes, okay. Then after that, see what is the next question. Angad Private Limited is engaged in business of distribution of construction material. As an incentive, Angad Private Limited pays an amount of 75,000 to its employees upon achieving a specified sales target. The incentive is part of salary of the employees and applicable tax is deducted at source as per relevant income tax provisions. Okay, so incentive is a part of salary and on that TDS is deducted as per income tax. Can we say if it is salary, then TDS under income tax will go under section number 192. Yes, Angad Private Limited is of the view that GST is not leviable on such incentive. Whether the view taken by Angad Private Limited, is it correct? Answer is yes, it is definitely correct because this is forming part of your schedule number 3 if you recollect. Section 7.2, schedule number 3, first point, any services provided by employee to the employer in the course of employment, on that there will be no GST applicable. Therefore, anything paid in the form of salary, incentives, perquisites, allowances, on that GST is not applicable. So yes, definitely the view taken by Angad Private Limited is correct. Then after that, the next one. Nandishwar manufacturers send certain category of yarn for processing to the job worker. Yarn is sent to the job worker supply of service. The job worker undertakes the processing work on the yarn as per the requirement of the Nandishwar manufacturers. During the process, the job worker uses his own material also. Okay. The processed yarn is sold by Nandishwar manufacturers directly from the job worker's premises. Okay. Balanced quantity of yarn and waste material is sent back to us. The job worker is of the opinion that he is using his own material also in the processing and hence the supply is in the nature of supply of goods as well as supply of services. Do you agree with the opinion of job worker? So can we say we do not agree with the opinion of job worker? Why? We had specifically studied in section 7.1a and schedule number 2. What did we study there? That whenever there is any processing done by the job worker, that is deemed as what? That is deemed as supply of services. See, job worker, let's say he's doing embroidery for me, or let's say he's doing the dye work for me. Obviously, there will be some material involved, but what is more important is the labor. So this will be considered as supply of service. Then let's go to the next one. Moksh Bhumi Industries has its manufacturing unit in the state of Maharashtra. Okay, Moksh Bhumi Industries has its manufacturing unit in the state of Maharashtra. It stores the finished goods manufactured by it at a depot located in Gujarat. Okay, so manufacturing unit is basically in Maharashtra. Storage, depot is where? Depot is in Gujarat. Okay, the depot is owned by Punya Bhumi Limited, a related person of Moksha Bhumi. Okay, so this manufacturing facility is basically of Moksha Bhumi and depot belongs to Punya Bhumi, which is a related person of Moksha Bhumi. Fine. Punya Bhumi has not charged any consideration from Moksha Bhumi for usage of depot. Okay, so basically can we say my related person is allowing me to keep the goods there for free? Whether the storage of goods permitted by Punya Bhumi to Moksha Bhumi qualifies as supply under GST. So now can we say there is a supply of goods or services between related person? If there is a supply of goods between related person and if it is done for zero consideration in the course or furtherance of business, then we are covered by para number 2 of schedule number 1. Yes, if we are covered by para number 2 of schedule number 1, then definitely this transaction will be considered as a supply. Okay, as per para 2 of schedule number 1 under section number and giving the reference of section number 7.1c, because this is a transaction between whom? Because this is a transaction between related person. Manageable? Okay. Now next one. Question number 19 here. Mr. Happy has a huge residential property located at a prime location in Mumbai, Maharashtra. He has let out the first and second floor to Mr. Peace for residential purposes in April. Okay. Mr. Peace surrenders his tenancy rights to Mr. Serene for a tenancy premium of 10 lakhs on 1st June. Okay, so he's charging some tenancy premium. Mr. Serene has also paid the applicable stamp duty and registration charges on transfer of tenancy rights. Moreover, Mr. Serene has agreed to pay a monthly rent of 1 lakh to Mr. Happy from June. Okay, so Happy is the owner, right? Mr. Peace was the old tenant and Mr. Serene is the new tenant, right? So new tenant is paying the rent also, plus he is going to pay the tenancy premium also. Rent he will pay to the owner, tenancy premium he is going to pay to the old tenant. Discuss the taxability. This we have again studied in schedule number 2, that whenever there is renting of immovable property, on this renting of immovable property, this will be considered as supply of services, and any tenancy premium paid by the new tenant to the old tenant is also considered as supply of service, and therefore it will be a taxable supply, right, on which GST will be applicable. Then next one, exam questions. Rudraksh Kapoor, owner of Rudraksh Publishing House, Ghaziabad, UP, donated some money to Divya Prakash Charitable Trust. Okay, so Rudraksh Kapoor is donating some money to this charitable trust in memory of his late father. The Divya Prakash Charitable Trust constructed a room in the school run by it from such donation and wrote there, donated by RK in the memory of his father, on the door of the room so constructed. Examine whether the money donated is leviable to GST. So can we say RK is donating some amount to the charitable trust, but for which is he going to get anything in return, or is not getting anything in return? He is not getting anything in return. So can we say there is no consideration involved? If there is no consideration involved, then as per section number 71A, it will not be considered as a supply. Acha, in the above question, if Divya Prakash Charitable Trust had written on the door of the room constructed in the school run by it from the money donated, that donated by Rudraksh Publishing House, Ghaziabad, UP. Rudraksh Publishing House, Ghaziabad, UP means, can we say in return? Now in the second case, in return I am getting some promotion. Yes, so that will be considered as what? We will say that yes, there is a non-monetary consideration involved. If there is a non-monetary consideration involved, then yes, this transaction will be considered as a supply as per section number 71A. Yes, okay. And now the last one. Vesco Limited, a registered person in Ahmedabad, Gujarat, having head office located in Singapore, received management consultancy services free of cost from its head office. We are situated here in Gujarat. Our head office is situated here in Singapore, outside India. Head office, related person also you can say, and any establishment situated outside India also you can say. Now, we received management consultancy services free of cost. Can we say free of cost means Schedule 1 will apply, Section 71C and Schedule 1 will apply. This is importation of services. This is means, can we say we are talking about para number 4. What was para number 4? Importation of services from a related person or from my establishment outside India for free, but in the course or furtherance of business. So, can we say all the points are getting fulfilled here? If all the points are getting fulfilled here, then yes, this transaction will be considered as what? Then this transaction will be considered as a supply. Where is the answer? Yes, here it is. Then this transaction will be considered as a supply. Yes, you need to be very, very thorough. You need to be very, very thorough with the theory, right? Then after that, let's go to the next one. Mrs. Kajal, a registered supplier of Jaipur, Rajasthan, has made the following supplies in the month of January. Supply of laptop along with laptop bag. Can we simply as of now say that this is a composite supply? Yes, let's see what is the question that they are asking. From the above information, examine each of the supplies made by Mrs. Kajal and determine the rate of GST applicable. Okay, so laptop along with laptop bag. Can we say principal supplies laptop? So rate of GST applicable is equal to 18%. They have not told you to calculate, they have just told you to identify the rate of GST. Then next one, supply of 10,000 kits at rupees 50 each, amounting to 5 lakhs to Ram Fancy Store in Kota, Rajasthan. Each kit, one hair oil, one beauty soap and one hair comb. Can we say this is going to be your mixed supply? Hair oil, beauty soap, hair comb. Highest rate will be 28%. So rate of GST here will be 28% on this entire amount of 5 lakhs. Then 100 kits are given as free gift to Jaipur customer. Free gift to Jaipur customers, all unrelated. Wow, so much hint. On occasion of Mrs. Kajal's birthday. Each kit has so and so things. Cost of the kit is 35, but we have given it for free. Means there is no consideration involved and ITC has not been taken. Anyway, ITC taken, ITC not taken is relevant only for business assets. Can we say here we are giving as free gifts to unrelated persons for which there is no consideration that we are receiving? Supply or not a supply? Can we say this is not a supply? Okay, as per para 2 of schedule 1, it will be considered as a supply only when the transaction is done between related persons or distinct persons. So here the rate of GST will be nil dash. Next one, event management services provided free of cost to her brother, wholly dependent on her, means related person. Event management services we have provided for his sons, means brother's son's marriage function in Indore, Madhya Pradesh. Cost of providing the said service is 80,000. See, for us it is business, so it is done in the course of business. The other person has used it for its personal purpose, that is a different thing. Now, we have provided this free. Again, can we say section 7(1)(c) para 2 of schedule 1 applicable? See, this is not importation of services, so para 4 cannot come. Okay, so para 2 of schedule number 1 says that supply of goods or services between related person which is done for free of cost in the course or furtherance of business. So yes, definitely this will be considered as a supply. And if this is considered as a supply, event management services rate of GST is rate of GST will be considered as how much? It will be considered as 5% because this is a supply. Then after that, 1400 chairs and 100 coolers hired out to Function Garden, Ajmer, Rajasthan for rupees 3,30,000 exclusive of GST, including the cost of transportation. Okay, so our main work is to hire out chairs and coolers. Okay, and in that we included the cost of transportation also from Mrs. Kajal's godown at Jaipur to Function Garden, Ajmer. Since Mrs. Kajal is not a goods transport agency, transportation services provided by her are exempt. Okay, means I am providing cooler and chairs also, plus I am charging for transportation also. Definitely this is a composite supply. Why? Main work is transportation or main work is hiring out coolers? Main work is hiring out coolers. So can we say on the total amount, the rate of hiring will be applicable? Means on the total amount, 12%. Principal supply is 12%, so that rate will be applicable. Manageable till here, everyone. See here it is presented. All the answers are given. 18%, 28%, nil, 5% and 12%. Yes. Chalo, I'll give you 2 minutes. Try to do next question on your own. We have done similar question. We have done the content also. Try, then we will discuss. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Done? Basically, they are just asking you whether it is supply of goods or services. So this is a temporary transfer of any copyright, intellectual property. So this will be supply of services. Then treatment or process applied to someone else's goods, that is job work. So even that will be considered as supply of services. And transfer of title, this so you already know, that will be considered as supply of goods. Manageable? Okay. Then nice question. Okay, next question, nice question. Let's try. Examine whether the activity of import of service in the following, importation of service. Okay, before starting importation of service, can we quickly revise the provision? Importation of services we saw at two places. One was section 71B, right? And the next one was 71C para 4. Okay, here it was for consideration whether or not for business. Here it was for zero consideration but for the purpose of business. Okay. They are asking whether it would amount to supply under section 7 of the CGST Act. So first one, Miss Sriniti Kaushik received interior decoration services for her residence located at Bandra, Mumbai from Mr. Rachel of Sydney, Australia. The amount paid is $5,000. Importation of services for a consideration. For a consideration. Can we say section 7(1)(b) applicable? Yes. And this is done for residence. Doesn't matter because 7(1)(b) said whether or not in the course or furtherance of business. So this transaction will be considered as a supply. Next one. Miss Sriniti Kaushik received interior decoration services for her residence located at Bandra, Mumbai from her brother. Okay. Brother, Mr. Varun, residing in Sydney, Australia, wholly dependent means this person is my related person. Okay, and she did not pay any consideration. If she did not pay any consideration means this will fall under schedule 1. But if it has to fall under schedule 1, it has to be only for the purpose of business, but this was for the purpose of residence. So this transaction cannot be considered as a supply because this was not done in the course or furtherance of business. And then the last one. Will your answer change in the above case if Ms. Sriniti has taken interior decoration services with regard to her business premises and not her residence? Yes, then our answer will change. Then this transaction will be considered as a supply. Why? Because there is importation of services from a related person for zero consideration in the course or furtherance of business. All the pointers are getting fulfilled of para number 2 of schedule number 1. Yes. Okay, done. Nice question. 7(1)(b) and all those got revised. Then after that, next one. Dum Dum Electronics has sold the following electronic items to Akbar retail store. Okay, refrigerator 500 liters taxable at 18%, stabilizer 12%, television 12%, split AC 28%. Stabilizer for AC 12%, total 5 items. Okay. Dum Dum Electronics has issued a single invoice indicating price of each of the above items separately. Okay, so this cannot be a mixed supply. This cannot be a mixed supply. This cannot be a composite supply. Why? Because amount of each item is mentioned separately. Okay. And Akbar retail store has given a single check of 1 lakh for all the items. Doesn't matter. Anyway, for the total invoice, we will do the payment by 1 check only. State the type of supply and the tax rate applicable in this case. Can we say this type of a supply is neither a composite supply nor a mixed supply? Okay, here, why it is not a composite supply? Because these items are not naturally bundled together. Why it is not a mixed supply? Because they haven't charged a single price. They have mentioned different prices for different products. So these are not bundled. Therefore, this is neither composite supply nor mixed supply, and this will be considered as individual supply. So what will be the rate of GST? Can we say individual, respective rate of GST will be applicable on respective products. Manageable till here? Okay, the next one. Gagan Engineering Private Limited, registered in Haryana, is engaged in providing maintenance and repair services for heavy steel machinery. Maintenance and repair services. Maintenance and repair services for heavy steel machinery. For carrying out repair work, Gagan Engineering Private Limited sends its container trucks equipped with items like repair equipments, consumable tool parts, etc. from Haryana workshop to its own repairing centers registered under GST law located in other states across India where the client's machinery are being brought and are being repaired. Okay, discuss the leviability of GST on interstate movement of trucks from workshop of Gagan Engineering Private Limited in Haryana to its own repair centers. Basically, there is a movement, there is a movement of the container trucks in which they are carrying the items of repairs, consumable tools, etc. So they are asking, what about the interstate movement of trucks? Can we say this is that clarification, non-supply clarification that we had studied? Yes, if it is a non-supply clarification, there we had studied that if there is any interstate movement of trucks in which there are some spare parts, etc. Here, why is the vehicle moving? The vehicle is moving for the purpose of carrying the goods. Okay, and there is no supply of truck happening here. So, supply of truck will neither be considered as supply of goods nor supply of services. Then next one. PTL Private Limited is a retail store of merchandise located in 25 states or union territories in the country. For the purpose of clearance of stock of merchandise and to attract customers, PTL Private Limited launched scheme of BOGO for the same type of merchandise. For instance, one shirt to be given free. Determine how taxability will be there under this scheme. So can we say whatever price, whatever is the consideration paid by the customer to the shopkeeper, on that entire amount GST will be applicable, because we had studied this in the clarification that in case of BOGO schemes also GST is applicable on the entire amount of consideration. Next one, read the next one on your own. Read the next question on your own. I'll give you 2 minutes. Try to recollect. Grant of alcoholic liquor license. Do you recollect we had studied this specifically in the notification? Yes. If state government is giving us the liquor license for which we are paying something as license fee. Okay, so on this transaction specifically there was no GST applicable. This was considered as non-supply. Therefore, this is neither supply of goods nor supply as of services. Then second part of this question, we'll do it later. Let's try the first part. Mangesh Enterprises Goa, a registered supplier, has made the following supplies in the month of February. Supply of guest house accommodation with facilities of cooling, heating, internet and parking to customers on daily rentals. Okay, so our main work is to give guest house accommodation. Okay, with facilities of all these things on a daily rental of 1500 rupees per day. This is per day. Mangesh Enterprises has 20 guest suites. During the month, there was 50% occupancy. Okay, so it was not occupied throughout. And this is for the month of February. Okay, catering and food service were supplied separately to those who asked for it or opted for it. That is 500 per day of occupancy, and total amount collected from catering and food service for 70,000. So this is separate. This is not composite, because we are not giving it to everyone. We are giving it to only those who are asking for it. What is the question that they are asking? Acha, they have given you some rates of GST also. With the help of the above information, examine each of the above supplies made by Mangesh for the month of February and determine the rate and amount of GST applicable. Okay, so we need to do the calculations here. Take your calcies, everyone. Take your calci. How much is the amount? How much is the rentals charged? 1500 rupees. Right, 1500 is per day. February has got 28 days. But it is occupied for only half the time, only 50% occupancy. And this way we have got 20 suits. Chalo, calculate how much does it come to? This comes to 4,20,000, right? In this 4,20,000, we are providing house, guest house, cooling, heating, internet and parking. Can we say this is a composite supply? And the main supply is going to be what? Main supply is going to be guest house accommodation, renting of guest house service. So can we say on this 4,20,000, 18% will be applicable, principal supply rate. And food is totally separate. Food, how much amount did we earn from food? We earned 70,000 from food. What is the rate of GST on food service? Food service is 5%. So can we say on 70,000, 5% tax will be applicable? Yes. So see here. Calculate 4,20,000 into 18% comes to how much? 75,600. And 70,000 into 5% comes to how much? 3,500. Are you understanding this? Yes. Second part, you have to do it later. Yes, it relates to some other chapter. Chalo, let's go to the next one. Explain the composite supply and mixed supply. Explain composite supply and mixed supply. That you can explain from section number 8. If a trader launches a package sales for marriage containing double bed, refrigerator, washing machine, wooden wardrobe at a single rate, he is issuing invoice showing value of goods separately. If it is separately, then it is not a composite supply and it is not even a mixed supply. Explain whether this is a case of mixed supply or composite supply. So can we say this will be considered neither as mixed supply nor as composite supply. So here it will be considered as individual supply, and if it is considered as an individual supply, then individual rates will be applicable on individual prices. Then the next one, list the activities to be treated as supply under CGST Act 2017 even if made without consideration. Even if made without consideration means, can we say they are asking about schedule 1, para 1 to para 4? Normal theory question, you can do it on your own. Yes. Then again, the next question. Mrs. Pragati received legal advice for her personal problems and paid £1,000 as legal fee to Miss Unnati of UK, London. Unrelated person, consideration involved, importation of services, personal problem, no problem. Section 7(1) applicable, whether or not in the course or furtherance of business. So this transaction will be considered as supply. This one is done. If in the above case, both of them are real sisters and no consideration is paid, then will it change your answer? Real sisters, but dependent or independent? Looks like independent because she is a lawyer there. So not a family member, not a related person for the purpose of GST. Means can we say we are not coming under, and there is no consideration also. Means can we say para 4 of schedule 1 is not applicable? Why para 4 of schedule 1 is not applicable? Because para 4 will become applicable only when it is from related persons and it is in the course or furtherance of business. So both the points are not getting fulfilled. For that reason, this is not a supply. Okay, this was for personal problem, na? Right? And then last, further in the above case, if both of them are real sisters and she takes it for her business purpose and she does not pay any consideration, then what will be your answer? Can we say still it is not a supply? Why? This person is not a related person. That's why this is not considered as a supply. Ma'am, how did you say that it is not a related person? How did you say that it is not a related person? We are saying that it is not a related person because we are assuming that Miss Unnati, if she is giving legal advice from them, then she is not dependent on us. Next one. Examine whether the following activities would amount to supply. This question we have done. You can try it on your own. I'll give you a minute to read. While you read on your own, try to put stress on those words, just like the way we are doing it while reading. Donation was given of 2 lakh rupees. Yes, for that, what did the charitable trust do in return for us? It has put a hoarding of our business products. Can we say there is a non-monetary consideration that we are receiving for this 2 lakhs? Yes, so this transaction will be considered as a supply. Then next one. Mr. Swami of Chennai is working as a manager with a bank. He consulted Messrs. Jacobs and Company of London and took its advice for buying a residential house in Mumbai and paid them consultancy fees for import of the service. Consideration is there. Importation of service will come under section number 71B. But this is for residential house. Doesn't matter na, because 71B says it can be whether or not for the purpose of business. Right? So this transaction will be considered as a supply. List 5 transactions under schedule number 3. Non-supplies. Can you do that? Employer-employee, court fees, powers given under Constitution of India, MPMLAs, then funeral, then sale of land and sale of building in some cases, and then actionable claims other than specified actionable claims. Right? You can list those pointers here. Then explain the meaning of supply as per section number 7.1. Okay, so you will have to give full 7.1a to section number 7.1c. You will have to go till there. Then the next one. With reference to the provisions of CGST Act, discuss in brief when importation of service will be considered as a supply and when it will not be considered as a supply. Very nice question. Importation of services, when it is done for a consideration, whether or not for the purpose of business, whether or not in the course or furtherance of business, then it will be considered as a supply. That is as per section number 7.1b. Right? Acha. Similarly, importation of services when done from related persons or from establishment outside India for no consideration but in the course or furtherance of business, then also it will be considered as a supply. Otherwise, any cases not falling under the first 2 cases will not be considered as a supply. Then explain the meaning of the term recipient. We had done this in the definitions part if you recollect. Recipient. Do you recollect what was there for recipient? In case of goods or services, whenever there is any consideration involved, the person liable to pay the consideration will be the recipient. And when there is no consideration involved, the person who is actually receiving those goods or services will be considered as the recipient and also includes the agent. Next one. Okay. Sahab Sales, an AC dealer in Janakpuri, Delhi. So Sahab Sales is situated in Delhi. Needs 4 AC for his newly constructed house in Safdarjung Enclave. Okay, he is already a AC dealer. Okay, now he needs AC for his house. Okay, therefore he transfers 4 AC on which ITC has been availed by it from its stock for the said purpose. Okay, so basically office is giving to house and it is a permanent transfer done for free. Can we say para 1 to schedule 1 applicable? If ITC has been availed by it and there is a permanent transfer happening, then in that case GST will be applicable. Okay, this transaction will be considered as a supply. Next, examine whether the said activity amounts to supply. Answer is yes, it will amount to supply. Reference that you will give is para 1 of schedule number 1. Now, further, a Janakpuri resident, Mr. Akash, okay, Mr. Akash approached Sahab Sales and he sold an AC to Sahab Sales. Oh my God. A normal person is selling AC to the AC dealer for rupees 5,000. For rupees 5,000. Maybe second hand AC. Akash had bought the said AC 6 months before for his residence. Okay. So Akash is a normal person. He is selling the AC to Sahab Sales. Does sale of AC by Akash to Sahab Sales, does it amount to supply? So when Akash is selling it to Sahab Sales, can we say Akash is not doing this in the course or furtherance of business? Imagine people like you and me who is not into the business and we are selling our used AC. So GST applicable or GST not applicable? Then GST is not applicable. Similarly, imagine now when we are selling our second hand car, at that time also GST is not applicable. Right? So same way, what if Sahab Sales sells any AC? Then GST is applicable because he is doing it in the course or furtherance of business. But when Akash is selling it, he is not doing it in the course or furtherance of business. So as per section number 7.1a, it will not be considered as a supply. Yes. Next question, you can try on your own. Did we do this specifically somewhere? Taxability of shares held in subsidiary company by holding company. Yes, we had done in the definition of goods and services that this is a transaction which is done in money or security. If this is a transaction done in money or securities, money and securities is excluded from both supply of goods as well as supply of services. So this transaction will not be taxable. Next one. Examine the implications of GST on supply of food. This also we have done. Food and beverages at cinema halls. Okay. Amendment point. You can expect it in the exam. You can definitely expect it in your exam because this is an amendment. Supply of food and beverages at cinema halls. When you are purchasing food along with cinema tickets, at that time, it will be considered as a composite supply. And on the total amount, what rate of GST will be applicable? The rate of principal supply, that is movie screening, will be applicable. But when a customer is purchasing the food separately from the counter, from the stalls, etc., then that will be considered as an individual supply and normal food rate of GST will be applicable. Next one, Happy Constructions Limited, a registered builder under GST in Bangalore, Karnataka, has got permission to build 5 floors from the municipal projects for one of its projects at Surajnagar. Aditya Constructions, a neighboring housing project, approached Happy Constructions to discuss about blockage of sunlight issue arising out of the construction of 5 floors and asked it to build only 3 floors, for which 20 lakhs was offered as compensation. Happy Constructions agreed to the offer. Oh my god. Okay. It may be noted that Aditya Constructions is not ready to pay any further amount to Happy Constructions in addition to the amount already agreed. Briefly explain with correct legal provisions whether the above amount received as compensation is liable to GST or not. So can we say we are agreeing to some obligation? Yes, we are agreeing to some obligation, that is the service provided by us. And for that, are we getting any compensation or are we getting any consideration? Answer is yes. Yes. So can we say here, Happy Construction is agreeing to the obligation of Aditya Construction, for which Aditya Construction is paying a consideration of 20 lakh rupees. So this will be considered, we had studied this in schedule number 2. This will be considered as supply of service because there is a separate agreement. Okay, there should be a separate agreement for the same and there should be a consideration that should be flowing from Aditya Construction to Happy Constructions. So this will be considered as a supply and GST will be applicable on the same. But now listen, see what are they telling? They are asking us to calculate the total GST payable by Happy Constructions. Assume the applicable rate of GST is 9% each. Also state the conditions to be complied. Now see, how much is the amount that he is paying us? He is paying us 20 lakhs. Is he paying us 20 lakhs plus GST or is he paying us total 20 lakhs? He is paying us total 20 lakhs. So can we say this 20 lakhs has the compensation also and plus it has got the GST figure also. This is inclusive of GST. So can we say 20, we will have to calculate, if we want to calculate the basic amount, then it will be 20 lakhs divided by 118 into 100. Reverse calculation. Ma'am, how did you get 118? Are 100 plus the rate of GST? Yes. Whatever amount you get, do you have the calci with you? If yes, try. 20 lakhs divided by, it comes to somewhere around 16,94,915. Yes, actually this is the amount of compensation that we have got. Yes, actually this is the amount of compensation that we have got. Yes or no? Yes. Okay, and from on this 18% GST, how much is the 18% GST figure comes to? 305085. Yes. Each. See GST and SGST. So 1,52,542.5 we can take each. Are you understanding this? Yes. Why didn't we do 20 lakhs into 18%? Because in this 20 lakhs, your compensation is also involved plus your GST is also involved. Are you understanding this? Done? Manageable, everyone? Okay. Chalo, let's start with the MCQs. We have got both. We have got the one-liner MCQs also and we have got the subjective MCQs also. Let's try with that. Let's start reading the first one. Mrs. KLM Limited is a large publishing and printing house registered in Maharashtra having single GSTIN, that is GST identification number, that is nothing but your GST registration number. Engaged in supply of books, letter cards, envelopes, guides and reference material. KLM Limited has front offices in Mumbai and Nagpur for receiving those orders. Orders are supplied to front office or supplied to the recipient directly depending on the order from the workshop located at Nagpur. Okay. Now, during March 2020, KLM Limited received a proposal for printing 5,000 copies of taxation book from a renowned author where only content books were supplied by the author. Where only content, I am in my IDT mode, where only content will be supplied by the author. Okay. KLM Limited agreed to supply the books. As per the requirement of the author, 2,500 copies were supplied from workshop to Nagpur front office and 2,500 copies to Mumbai front office from where the author collected the books. Okay, fine. No problem. Satisfied with the quality of the books, author placed order of 10,000 pieces of letterhead during April 2020. Design and logo was supplied by the author. Due to these orders, KLM Limited earned a handsome amount of profit and decided to gift employees for their performance. Accordingly, KLM Limited gifted Android mobile phone worth 36,500 each to all of its 45 employees. Okay. Let's see. Multiple questions. Very nice question. In relation to the above, answer the following questions. First, supply of taxation books. That will be considered as a composite supply. Same. And principal supply will be supply of service. Right? Because content is more important. On letterhead, paper is more important. So, composite supply of goods. We had it in our theory also. Then, distribution of mobile phone. Value of mobile phone is only 36,500, na? So, supply or not a supply? Can we say this will not be treated as supply because the value does not exceed rupees 50,000. In case of gift, the value was 50,000. And then next, in relation to taxability of supplies of copies from its workshop to front office. Nagpur and Mumbai were the two front offices, right? But it was having a single GSTIN. If it was having a single GSTIN, will it be called as distinct persons or it will not be called as distinct person? It will not be called as distinct person. Distinct person concept will come into picture only when there are two offices having two different GSTIN numbers having one PAN, right? So this is not liable to GST. Not liable to GST. So C will be the correct answer. Then, now simple MCQs. Which of the following is not a supply? Management consultancy services not in the course or furtherance of business. Import of services for the consideration not in the course or furtherance of business. Which one is not a supply? Can we say both of them is not a supply? Why both of them is not a supply? Why? It is not done in what? It is not done in the... Oh, sorry. This one is for a consideration. This one is for a consideration. This one will be considered as a supply na, as per section number 7(1)(b). But this one will not be considered as a supply. So, A is the answer. Dash specifies the activities to be treated as supply even if it is made without consideration. Schedule 1. Which of the following activities outside the scope of supply not taxable? Employee, employer, funeral, actionable. All of the above. D is the correct answer. Which of the following supplies are naturally bundled? None of the above. Na? Everything can be given separately. None of the above. Then a dash supply comprising of two or more supplies shall be treated as the supply of that particular supply that attracts the highest rate. Highest rate comes in mixed supply. Which of the following activities is a supply of service? Supply of service. Right. Using the goods. That will be considered a supply of service. Then P Limited has a contract with X Limited to provide bookkeeping services to Q Limited. Okay. And Q Limited is a subsidiary of P Limited. Okay, so it is going to provide bookkeeping services. The liability to discharge the consideration is of P Limited. So money will be paid by P Limited. As per CGST, who is the recipient? We know that as per the definition of recipient, the person liable to pay the consideration will be the recipient. So P Limited will be considered as the recipient. Then, which of the following is a non-taxable supply under CGST Act 2017? Which of the following is a non-taxable supply? Not leviable to tax, not leviable to tax, which is neither supply of goods nor supply of services. Non-taxable supply means what? 1 plus 5 products. 1 plus 5 products. Yes. So can we say which is not leviable to tax at all? So A and B will be the answer. Yes. Then this is not a supply at all. Na? Then an exempt supply includes 3 things. Nil rated, non-taxable, wholly exempt. Perfect. All of the above. Definition of goods does not include money and securities. While repairing the factory shed, few goods were also supplied along with the labor. It is works contract, goods plus labor. Agent means person who carries on the business on behalf of another. Person who arranges or facilitates the supply of goods or services but does not include a person who supplies such goods. No, A is the answer. Agent is a person who is doing the supply on someone else's behalf. What are the different types of supplies? Supply made with consideration, supply made without consideration. Both. What are the factors differentiating composite supply? Method of bundling, yes, and existence, both. What would be the tax rate applicable in composite supply? Principal supply will be the rate applicable. What would be the rate applicable in mixed supply? Highest rate will be applicable. Then, which of the following is not considered as a supply? Import of services for a consideration for residential property from unrelated. This is a supply as per section 7(1)(b). Importation of services free of cost. Schedule 1 for office from a related person. Even this is a supply as per schedule number 1. Importation of architectural services for construction for business from unrelated person. This is not considered as a supply. So C should be the answer. Then, as per CGST Act, the term works contract includes construction, etc. of immovable property. Then, which of the following transactions does not qualify as supply under GST law? Disposal of is not a supply that they are asking. Disposal of car without consideration and supplier has not claimed ITC. If he has not claimed ITC, then this is not a supply. Na? So A should be the answer. Yes. You can check the other options. Principal making supply to his agent. An invoice is done by the agent. This is a supply as per para number 3. HO making a supply of services to its own branch. This is supply between related persons. So this is also a supply as per para number 2. Person imports services without consideration from his elder son living outside India. This is also a supply. This is also a supply, assuming that he is a related person as per para number 4. Then the next one. Let's try the next one. Korilal Printon Private Limited, a registered person under GST in the state of Jammu Kashmir, is engaged in the business of offset printing and is providing services to various book publishers. A publisher situated in the state of Himachal Pradesh, a registered person under GST, sent content. Similar question to be printed by printer in the PDF format. The publisher also sent paper worth 4 lakh to the printer free of cost for the purpose of printing its book on 10th Feb as per the agreement. Korilal Printers raised an invoice of 1.5 lakhs only for printing and returned the entire books through challan to the publisher. Proper officer means the GST officer intercepted the vehicle, stopped the vehicle and claimed that this printer should have sent the invoice of 5.5 lakhs, that is 4 lakhs plus 1.5 lakhs. That is including the value of paper. You may suitably advise which one of the following is the correct option. Can we say the service that is provided by the printer is only of printing? Paper was given by us. So he provided us only the printing services. So the value is only equal to rupees 1.5 lakhs. So can we say he is liable to pay tax only on 1.5 lakhs as supply of service? And then after that, next one, determine which of the following independent transactions, even if made without consideration in terms of schedule number 1, will be deemed as supply. Which one will be deemed as supply? AB and Associates transfer stock of goods from Mumbai branch to Kolkata depot for sale of such goods at the depot. So can we say here from Mumbai branch to Kolkata depot? So this will be considered as related persons. Yes, this is done without consideration. So this will be considered as a supply. This will be deemed as a supply. Next one, Mr. Raghuveer, a dealer of air conditioners, permanently transfers the motor vehicle free of cost. ITC was blocked and therefore not availed. So this is not a supply because ITC was not availed. Then Mrs. Riddhi, an employee, received gift for 21,000. Were 21,000 not a supply? So can we say only the first one will be considered as a supply? So A will be the correct answer. Right? Then after that, the next one. M.H. Hussain, a famous painter from Delhi, sends his latest artwork to Indian Classic Gallery, Delhi for exhibition. However, no consideration has been flown from Indian Classic Gallery to M.H. Hussain, where the artwork is sent to the gallery for exhibition. No money as of now because the painting is not yet sold. M.H. Hussain is in dilemma whether GST is payable. So GST is not payable because there is no consideration, because it does not amount to supply at all. When will this amount to supply? Only when the further painting is sold. Yes. Okay, so this was your MCQs. I hope it was manageable. Yes. If you're facing problem in recollecting the provision, use the revision video. Yes, it is there on YouTube. Use the revision video. Try to recollect the provisions. Again, come back and try the questions. Yes. Thank you so much.